All right, everyone, welcome back to Talking with Teachers. This is episode 3, and we have Mr. Jacobs, and what a great guy right here. And I'm sorry we couldn't get a better background for this. I know we could have gotten it by like the drinking fountain in the band room. That probably would have been better, but we just kind of had to make do with what we had. So, hey, what do you do at Avon High School, Mr. Jacobs?
So at Avon High School, I am the director of all of our high school band activities. So we have 2 bands that meet during the day. That's Symphonic Band and Wind Ensemble, also in charge of marching band and any other activities related to band. Including like this season right now, we're in the middle of solo and ensemble season. So we have, I think, well over 30 events going to Lorain County Solo and Ensemble on February 24th, that's always a huge day for us. And I'm also the director of the 8th grade band, and I assist with the 7th grade band at the middle school. So that makes up my whole day.
Yeah, so you like interchange between the schools. Is that?
I go between buildings every day, yes.
Is that pretty tough?
You know, I've kind of lived both worlds because my first job was in Beaver Creek in Dayton, and I was in the same building all day long. And I kind of like the break in the day, actually. Now I've gotten used to it where I do like that time where, and actually I can go outside for a few minutes. I like that where like I'm able to go out, see the sun for a minute, take a little drive. I don't know, I like the change of pace personally. I guess I've just gotten used to it. Initially it was tough since my first job was just being in the same building the whole day.
So clearly, you know, you like band just a little bit. So
I might like band a little bit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why do you love it, man? Like, what's that?
So this goes way back to just music in general, because it's not even just band anymore. You spend a lot of time making music. You very often find as many avenues as possible to express yourself with it. And in particular now, it's just an aside, I really love the amount of students we have that do multiple things, I guess, in the performing arts right now. And I've kind of openly encouraged that because that's gradually become kind of how I enjoy being a musician, is to like singing in staff choir for us. But also, yes, primarily I'm a trumpet player, and I've also picked up and purchased a clarinet and trying to get better at that as well. But for me, it goes way back to my time as a student at Avon High School. So back in 2000, that was my freshman year. That was like the second year that this building was open, and all the fancy bells and whistles we have all over the place, especially this place here, we're obviously not here. But being a part of like the first time not the first time, but the very early development of our band program really kind of coming into its own, and being a student at that time, I enjoyed that process so much. I also kind of got to be a bit of a teacher as I developed some leadership skills as a student, and so that was just kind of a natural progression, I guess, that led me from doing that in college to teaching elsewhere to coming all the way back to Avon.
So clearly it was a much different program back then. I remember
Yes.
you telling us back when I was in band that it was where the band room was where the lunchroom is now.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the cafeteria now. So yeah, like going back to when this building first opened up, like where the cafeteria, like where the servers actually make the food, it's like expanded back to where the band room used to be. And we used to have in this building, the first few years here, we had a community room. And some of you may remember that prior to COVID, we had a community room. That was the band room. And when this building first opened up, the band and orchestra room way over here didn't even exist. So yeah, it's a little bit more cramped. We used to have another weird scheduling fact about the bands, we used to have both of the bands meet in the same class period because we used to run marching band simultaneously out of it in the fall. So like symphonic band would have to meet in what's the choir room now. So Kyle, I want you to picture your days in symphonic band and all those kids and then pack them into the choir room as it is right now.
Oh, that's
it was a little compressed.
that sounds pretty bad, honestly. I'm glad I was born later in
Yeah,
life,
you
so
lucked
I
out.
didn't
Yeah,
have
it was pretty cramped in there. I felt bad for them.
Now, how was like AHS like in general? Like, how different was that when you went there?
When I went here, it's a lot different. So back when I graduated, just so you guys have an idea of numbers, I don't know if you guys know very well about like average graduating class sizes from here, like 350 on up to as many as 400. I was class of 2004, and at the time, we were the largest class to go through Avon, and we were like 175 kids. So like we were half that, and people were like, oh my gosh, class of 2004 is so big, and like people were not, did not even have the what Avon has become on the horizon at that point. So we were still very much the small family farm town that there's definitely a lot more of that. Back when I went to Avon, still had a couple of kids probably pulling up in tractors more often than just on Tractor Tuesday. It was definitely a much different scene. The other cool thing that I liked about it, it's something that's unavoidable when you have a school that's this big and has this much going on. I mean, everybody knew just about everybody, I feel like. I pretty much knew almost everybody's name that was in my class at least. And I don't know amongst students if that's the case anymore.
Yeah.
But certainly when you have only 170 people, I knew pretty much everybody, and I could say hi to everybody by first and last name.
Yeah, and there's definitely more personal like experience, and you know that small town like farm thing that has its place.
It does.
So one thing the band that you guys do a lot is the trips. Those are pretty.
We do
cool.
tend to go places.
So you go to Indianapolis, like every year?
Indianapolis, yeah. Just about every year we're going to Indianapolis. Yeah.
What do you do during that?
So that is, yeah. So like the band students kind of like just colloquially refer to that trip as Indy, right? If you just hear them talking about Indy, we go to Indianapolis. We perform at Lucas Oil Stadium. That is where the Indianapolis Colts play football, and it's a facility that was built to host more than just football games. So the inner workings of the stadium are set up really nicely for a band competition. And this is like the national competition for all marching bands. And it's really great to see our students get that opportunity to perform, one, in that venue, but two, also to see the best bands in the country. Getting to watch that and be a part of that experience is really cool. You can see some pretty amazing things. It's very motivating to go to an event like that, and very just exciting to take in all the concepts and how people put their shows together. You could say that how insane some of these groups are from the top schools. There's some amazing bands, particularly like Indiana, Texas. Like, you're not going to get to see those groups in Ohio, and so getting a chance to go see them live and in person is like a really big deal and super cool.
Have you guys done very successful? Like, what's your most successful moment at Indy?
So Indy, there was a year back, and this is after I graduated and well before I came back as a director. It was 2008. We were one placement away from making semifinals, which is like, if you make semifinals, that's like the top 30-some bands out of the 100 or so that are there, and that's nationally. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. And so in 2008, we scored like a 70-point something. I forget what it was, but that was like the top year for Avon Marching Band. Was that 2008 year, and that was before we became a much bigger school like we are now. So we were in the smallest division of bands, and so just the way the scoring worked out, if we had performed on the other day, my understanding is that we would have actually qualified for semifinals, because they were pulling from both. There's 2 days of prelims to get into that next level. So like, we scored that year well enough to make semifinals in the smallest class of bands.
Were you directing them?
No, I actually was. I worked for Mr. Viglione that summer on just like his band camp staff in the very early parts of that show, but I was not really full-time on staff at that point at all. I was actually about to finish my last year of school, and that was before I went to work at Beaver Creek. But yeah, that was probably that was the top year, I think, for us in marching band, was that 2008 year. So
that's pretty awesome, man.
Yep.
2008, man.
That is a back in the day kind of.
That
year.
is like.
Yep.
That's a long time ago. And then you guys also do every 4 years the Walt Disney World, the vacation destination of the world.
Yes, we
trip.
do. Didn't you go on that your freshman year?
I did go on.
That's
it.
right.
That was pretty amazing, bro. It was fun. Like, okay, the bus ride though is probably
bus ride is forever and a day. Like, it's a long time on a bus.
So you've done that like multiple times.
I've done that. I mean, so I did it. Obviously, one time as a student here. We happened to go my freshman year also when I was a student here. And then I've done it twice with Avon as a director. And then I did it once when I was at Beaver Creek as a member of their staff too. So like, I've done that long bus ride. I've done it 5 times now.
Are you like used to it
Down
at this
and back.
point?
No, you cannot get used to something like that. And me personally, I am terrible at sleeping anywhere other than my own house.
Same.
I'm so bad. So like a bus seat, like no good. No good. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Like on the way back from your freshman year trip, bus 3 ended up being like the COVID bus. Dude, like half of our bus ended up with COVID. I was out of school the entire next week too.
Well,
then that bus ride back, I was coming down with it. That was the most miserable 24 hours of my life, man. That was terrible.
What's funny is that I got COVID right after that trip.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people did. And like the next weekend was the first musical in this PAC. So like, you could put, like, if the wrong people caught COVID, that could have been a disaster. You could have had all of your leads out for Little Mermaid with COVID. Like,
could have been crazy.
That could, and then the week after that, we were doing the grand opening with a piece that we had commissioned to open this place.
Oh my gosh.
So like, that could have been a cascade of just bad. that would have shut down a whole bunch of things that were really big events that were supposed to happen.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's like, that's honestly a miracle that
Yeah, it was a miracle that we got everything to go.
So I kind of forgot that we like performed there. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, March Through Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
That's not that long of a parade.
It's not that long.
Yeah, and I've done some parades in my day. I mean, I was sort of unlucky, I guess. So if you don't know, I marched in the Ohio State Marching Band in college. And we never did a Rose Bowl when I was in the band there. We did a lot of Fiesta Bowls, so I did a lot of stuff in Arizona while I was in the band. So we did like a 2-mile parade in the middle of friggin' Tempe, Arizona, and like, even though it was like January 2nd or whatever, like still pretty warm out in Arizona at that time. And like we had our full uniforms on and everything. So I was a sweatbox. So I will say low key, this is kind of bad. I did try to steal a whole bag of Tostitos in my uniform, like at the end of that parade. Uniforms in OSU are like very fitted, like you cannot like, and I think that was my rookie year. So I think my squad leaders were like, that was like the hazing was like, all right, rookie, put this in your uniform. So I had like, it was like the family size bag of Tostitos. And like we got to a halt, and it fell out. Like we did our halt kick or whatever that we do, and we stopped, and it just fell out. I was like, I was very embarrassed.
That's unfortunate. But
yeah.
I hope you enjoyed those Tostitos, man. So.
Not that exact bag. Those we had to leave a man behind that day. It was just kind of worked out that way.
Hey, but you got a bag of Tostitos that
eventually later on we did.
You did.
Yeah.
You later did.
Yeah, I mean now the kids that go on, like the football players that go on bowl trips and stuff for D1, like they're getting all kinds of goodie bags and stuff. Like they get. We need those NIL deals for band kids too. Just saying.
Yes, you heard it here first.
Yamaha,
folks.
call me up.
You heard it here first.
Let's get it. Yeah.
So we did kind of sway away from the Disney thing there, but I wanted to say that I remember when we were done with the marching band, the Disney representative, I guess I was right by him, so he just gave the trophy to me, and I was like,
oh, he did?
yeah, he just gave it to me. It's like, I don't deserve this. I literally had to learn marching band. I had to learn how to march to be here. It's like,
I never knew that. That's really funny.
I literally remember he just gave it to me. I was just like, I don't know. Hey, it was
Okay.
cool though. Hey, it was
All right,
cool.
great. Yeah, like I'll take this, I guess. Yeah, that's funny. I'm glad you told me that.
So what type of like music do you listen to outside of band? Like, are you listening to like Caveman Gets a Haircut while you're like while you're like in your car?
Kyle, I gotta ask then, is that the one you brought for me to play?
No, that's not what I brought.
Okay,
for you
gotcha.
to play.
So yeah, I don't listen to Caveman Gets a Haircut in my spare time.
Yeah.
No, I will say though, I do listen to a decent amount of what you might consider classical music, whether it's orchestral, band, choral. It's definitely my scene. But I also like, especially stuff that I'm some people may know. Like I'm pretty big into CrossFit, so I'm not listening to Mozart while I'm trying to like go for like a heavy power clean. Like it's not really the kind of energy that's going to help get you a PR and that kind of a lift, or like even lifting anything heavy for a particular set. Like I'm not blasting the string quartet music or brass quintet music in my ears when I'm doing that. So in terms of like workout music, I mean, I really enjoyed, I found again listening this summer, Breaking Benjamin was one of my favorite bands as a kid. Okay. So
Never heard of them.
I'll put Breaking Benjamin on. Like they'll definitely get you amped. I really do enjoy a cappella music. So like if I'm going for just more like a chill vibe, driving in the car, Pentatonics, you cannot go wrong with that. They're amazing. I got to see them live in concert actually. I feel so lucky that I got to see them live in concert. They're amazing. Obviously I think a lot of our acapella kids, or all of our acapella kids, know who they are. Let me look at my Spotify. Hold on.
Let's look.
Yeah. Oh. Fun fact, I enjoy, there's a band that's not as commonly known maybe, but they did have a couple platinum albums like way back in the day, Winger. I enjoy their music. But random fact, my cousin actually married the keyboardist from Winger. So like,
What?
So like, yeah, so the keyboardist's name in the band is Paul Taylor. And so if you go to like their Spotify page, he's the only dude that doesn't have like rocker hair.
That's crazy.
So all these guys have like the big 80s rocker hair, and Paul's just got like regular hair. It's like regular
That's
length.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a super nice guy. Actually got to see him do a show over the summer out in Akron. So like we got together with Paul, had dinner, and then we got to go see a show. And
That's crazy.
Yeah, those guys still bring it. Those guys are all like in their 60s and they're still out there touring and playing rock music.
Cool.
So yeah, and I hadn't heard their music until then, but like now they definitely hit the workout playlist for sure. More jazz stuff. I do like some Michael Bublé. Absolutely. Yeah.
Jazz.
I've heard Big Ben might be playing Feeling Good soon here, which is super awesome. That's a great chart. So I'm excited for them. They say, the couple of kids that I've heard mention it, I think are really excited about it. So that could be a huge hit at a Fusion concert in the future. So, and I'm putting this on recording, so that makes Molman do it now. It's on recording, so Molman now has to program that at some point. Holding your feet to the fire on that, Eric.
If you don't do it, we're we're gonna dissolve Fusion. We're gonna make them.
Fusion's just done if you don't play this one song.
Yeah, it's no longer to be.
It's now cooked. It's over. Yeah.
It's no longer Fusion. It's now. All right, this is our challenge for Talking with Teachers episode 3. So we're gonna really see if Mr. Jacobs knows how to rock a trumpet. All right, from the top, hot cross buns. Can you do it?
You want hot cross buns first? I got you. I might need to look at the music because I don't know if I remember it. Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yay, I did it.
That's probably the most elegant hot cross buns I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it should be. Like, people play it all like that. Not, gotta be more melodic.
The medium level song here, let's get it.
Medium level song.
So this is the medium level one?
This is not the real Carnival of Venice. This is some fake Carnival of Venice. I don't know where you found this. This is not right.
Listen, I'll listen.
But I got you. Like, I'll play that. I got that whole opening. This is fine. It started to sound like the real thing for a second there, but it's like not really Carnival of Venice.
But now it's time for the.
Oh no!
This is really what we're gonna see if he's truly, that guy.
Haven't played this in a minute. Here we go.